All right, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Team Reactive question and answer session. My name is Paul Tyra, and I will be your host here for the next about 15 minutes or so. We're going to leave this line here open. Right beneath the screen, there is a comments thread section. So if you'd like to ask a question, just go ahead and type it in that area below, and we'll do our absolute best to answer it. I know sometimes you guys get some tricky ones. So if we don't know the answer to it, we'll get back and post it right there in line in that comment thread. Now, we did have a question that came in a little after the bell, I think, on our last Q&A, and I did answer it there. It was from William Hawkins, and he was asking about how to find the best prospects, not just low-income people. And I don't think I really referred to it necessarily as low-income people, because there are a lot of people out there who may not be getting paid what they're worth. And I'm really hoping that a lot of you that are watching can relate to that statement, right? Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't feel like you were being paid what you're worth? I think most of us, any of us who've ever achieved success in this industry, have felt that way in a previous career path. And that's what's one of the greatest things about our industry, is that there is no ceiling over your head, right? And you create your destiny. The harder you're willing to work, the more you're willing to focus, the less you're willing to let the opinions of others influence your determination and abilities to succeed, the more success you will create. So it's a great thing to be able to go out now and look for people of like-minded thinking and people who are willing to do something about it. Okay, so what I want to do is as if we're going to start having questions that come in, first off, I just like to give you a little bit of food for thought on a conversation you may have with someone that may identify someone as being a good prospect. Okay, because whenever we talk to somebody initially, they are what we refer to as a suspect. Okay, so it doesn't mean they're really even a prospect yet. We're just learning about someone, and that's really I think when you understand this, it will take a lot of stress off of you. We are not in the closing business. We're not like out there selling vacuum cleaners, or no offense to any vacuum cleaner salesmen out there, or door-to-door things. We're just trying to make one sale and then get to the next sale. Make one sale, get to the next sale. We're not like that. Okay, we're looking for partnerships, for business partners, people, again, that are of like-minded thinking and are willing to follow instruction and build teams and create this, an organization that will ultimately be able to help them change their life. So let me share my screen here and talk about the elements or rather what you should be talking about when you're going out there introducing yourself and talking to suspects, if you will. Okay, first off, this quote really has stuck in my head for probably over a decade, maybe a decade and a half. I think I heard it first from Zig Ziglar. He said that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like has been said, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use them proportionately. So the better listener that you are, the more effective, and my personal belief through experience is the more success you're going to create. If you've ever ran into someone who just sits there and blasts information at you, most people will stop listening after maybe 3 minutes or 4 minutes. So when you've been talking for 15 minutes straight, that should be a clue that you're probably not being effective. Okay, let them talk. Like I say, whoever gets the other person to talk the most wins. And kind of look at it like that. Have some fun with it, but not to be manipulative, but to just be to be able to learn about who you're talking with. Okay, so like we say, talk less to more people. All right. So the first thing, as we're getting the other people to talk, like you're probably saying, how would you get someone to talk? What would they talk about? Well, most people like to talk about themselves, right? And the first thing I like to find out is if they like what they do for a living. all right? If they're really passionate, do they get up every morning and say, man, you know, most days I wake up before the alarm clock because I just can't wait to get ready and go to work. Well, what we know in this country, right, is 70% of people do not like what they do for a living. Think about that. 70%. That's from a Gallup poll study. And then I think a lot of the other people probably, they may like what they do, but they don't feel, a lot of them don't feel they're getting paid enough income or that they're earning enough income. Okay. And then that would be the next question. Do you feel they earn enough income? Now, this is a little tricky. You can't just ask someone, hey, how much money do you make? Or it's a little awkward of a question. Or do you really feel like you're making a lot of money? That's really can be awkward. So you may want to write this down. This is what I like to mention, kind of casually. I just say something like, man, they must be paying you a fortune to do that. So think about that statement for a second. If somebody likes what they do for a living, that's a very valid statement to make, right? Wow, they must be paying you a fortune to do that. Because that's probably one of the reasons why they like it, right? And if somebody doesn't like what they do for a living, and you say, well, man, they must be paying you a fortune to do that, right? What do you think the answer is 99% of the time? They're like, yeah, right, I wish. Man, I barely make enough to pay the bills, and I got some huge credit card debt, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But again, it's just a way, you don't have to know the specifics on how much they make. Because to be honest, what might be a lot of money to you might not be a lot of money to them, or vice versa. So you don't really need or really necessarily want to get specifics. You just want to know, do they really feel like their bank account is full? And again, the majority, 99 people out of 100, or not, at least we know at least 95 people out of 100, the answer is no. Then the next thing is, if someone feels they have enough free time, because there are successful people out there who their business or whatever their line of work is owns them. They don't own their life. And I know this might be a foreign concept to you, because most people feel, and I know a lot of people who've approached me and say, Paul, wow, and even back when I was working corporate America, and even as a chief information officer and doing this, you know, deep six-figure type salary, I didn't own my life. I couldn't just go out and say, you know what, I'm playing golf today. Okay. I couldn't just say, you know, I'm just going to take the next 2.5 weeks and go to Hawaii, which I just came back from. So, I mean, you can't do that. You basically can go on vacation when you schedule it for X amount of weeks that you're eligible for, usually once a year. And if you're there for 10 years or something, we get an extra week, maybe a whole month. Wow. Okay. So basically, most people don't have enough free time on their hands. So how I determine this is just ask them what they like to do for fun. And you may want to jot that down. So what do you do for fun, Jim? So you get to do that a lot? Do you play in leagues every week, or whether they like to play softball, whether they like to ski, or whether they golf, whatever their sport of choice is, or their recreational activity of choice. Some people say, I just like to go watch my kids play soccer at their soccer games. Wish I could do more of that. Whatever that is, you're just going to find that so many people feel that they do not have control and the ability to do what they want when they want. Okay. So again, and I want you to really creatively think. Again, do not go up to someone and go, do you like what you do? Do you earn enough income? Okay, that's not how this is structured. I want you just to digest the elements of a conversation, and this is, by the way, also known as being a good, compassionate human being. Okay, if you put that as your focus first, you will see the results and the receptiveness of the people that you're talking with. They're going to basically be wanting your information and the right information from you on how they can do something that can change and make a difference in their life and the lives of others. Now, the fourth thing is someone's ability to retire. And again, so usually at this stage of the game, I've determined that this person probably doesn't like what they do. They probably don't feel they make enough money or have enough free time, at least one of those things, if not all of the above. So at this point, I'd be like, so when are you going to be able to retire? Or when are you going to be able to have the option to stop working and continue, your same style of life and be able to, free up, have a lot of free time to enjoy the things you love to do? What do you think the response is for most people to that? Either I have no idea, or I've heard I'll probably have to work till I've got 1 foot in the dirt, okay, or I hope I can retire by 55 or 60, but no one knows an exact date. They just don't. They don't know if they're going to have a job. A good percentage of people, they're just, it's fascinating to me how many times I hear, wow, I'm just grateful to have a job. I'm kind of thinking in my head, I'm grateful not to have a job. I mean, so I think it's, once you get all this information and you realize and you kind of connect with them and understand that, that you do have a better way, just ask them if they'd be open. At this age, just say, look, would you be open to other ways of generating extra income? What do you think their response is to that? What can the response be? Besides a resounding, well, yeah, or what are you talking about? I mean, that's probably the worst case scenario. They'll probably say, what do you mean? What are you talking about? If someone's really negative or skeptical, they'll be like, is this one of those pyramid things, is it? Okay, so I mean, that's about it, but they're not, I mean, after someone's dumped all this about their dissatisfaction with their current financial and personal freedom situation, how can they not at least show some level of interest, right? Now, at that point, you want to get their contact info, and which is their name, email, phone number, because you're gonna get that, and you're gonna be busy. That's really the key thing, is let them know that, look, you don't have time to go into the depth of detail, and plus let them know that you have an automated platform. This is something that you're able to do from home, and there's internet-based tools. It's really super exciting stuff, so that you can craft your own hours and your own time. And if you've got, let's say you have a current job, say, look, I'm building this on the side while I'm still working at my current job, but my goal is here over the next year to 2 years is to transition out of that to be able to work from home full time. And in order for me to hit my goals, I need to help other people achieve their goals as well. Okay, so I'm going to send you a piece of information, because I've got some other appointments to get to. That's what be busy means here that you see on screen. And then you go back and you enter them into the ABC platform. Okay. And what's great here too is that the opportunity focused initial communication will have elements of what you've just been talking about that will address the fact that they're not happy with what they're doing. They're not earning enough. They don't have enough free time. That video will be postured so that now you're answering and showing that you have a solution for that, a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. Okay, so they're in ABC, you categorize them and you start that process. And be sure when you get to the end of that you let Jeannie schedule a follow-up call or manually set a follow-up date that you're going to follow up with them. Now, if you attended our previous Hangouts, there was a question that was brought up on if you approach someone like this, or you've got someone who's already ready to get the information, you don't have to go through the whole call scripting process. Just click on the call button, start call button rather, once you get their contact in there, and then click on end call, and that will pop up the follow-up information, whether you're going to let Jeannie let you know when you need to follow up or when you actually have a specific day and time that you told them you would call them. Okay, so that's really it, guys. Once you're in this process, and if they come back with questions, you can go in the library, send them tools. Remember, you are the messenger. You're not the message itself. Don't get into deep explanations regarding all the details of the technology. Let the platform do the work for you. Again, as you get better and more educated, and as you start dealing directly with, creating more success and dealing directly with maybe higher levels of talent, then you can, you'll feel comfortable and you'll be doing three-way phone calls, etc. But let the platform do this. And of course, get your upline involved with a three-way call if your prospect needs to, to hear from a subject matter expert, someone who's already created success. Okay, that's all I got. And let me get back here, stop sharing the screen. So if, again, there are any questions, whether it's regards to what information that I just covered or anything else, I'll give you just a minute here. Go ahead and type. Again, it's in the comments thread right below the screen here. Feel free to just type any question, and I will be more than happy to answer it. If I don't see it by the time I hit refresh here for the last time, we'll look to address it on Saturday's call. Now, I want to mention I'm not going to be on the this Saturday's Q&A. We'll look for a fill-in. If not, we'll go ahead and answer the questions right there in line here at trhangout.com. Okay. We like to do it live and be able to give people access to directly ask questions. And again, if you have prospects, maybe they've watched a presentation or they've went through the steps of Genie. Maybe you can't get a hold of an upline or whatnot. We just want to make this resource available to you so that we can answer your questions. And by the way, come here anytime. You don't have to wait until and then to go, oh, let me think of a question. No, if a question pops up, come to trhangout.com, put it in there, and we can maybe even craft like a message like I did tonight around answering that, because I can guarantee you that if you have that question, there's other people out there that have the same question. Okay, I'm gonna hit refresh one last time here to see if we didn't have any last minute questions that do pop up. Okay, doesn't look like it. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you'd like to rewatch this, if you found some of the information helpful, you can do it in just a couple of minutes. It will automatically be recorded and reposted right here, back here at trhangout.com, and it will be available until our next Hangout. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Good night, everybody.